July 10th, 2002. This is the nation's top-selling video game. The object?
Kill as many people as you can, get as many stars as you can.
And millions of kids are mastering it by learning to slaughter bystanders.
It's as close as you can get to killing someone without being arrested or really killing someone.
Kill police officers. Hire prostitutes. Club them to death and reclaim their money.
Like an adrenaline rush.
Tonight, it's just a game. Playing Grand Theft Auto 3. From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel. There is nothing new about worrying over the impact of media on children. One generation of adults after another has viewed with alarm and risen with righteous indignation over the potential damaging effects of violent comic books, rock and roll music, graphic movies, obscene lyrics, not to mention the wholesale impact of the internet and all that's contained within. But of all the worrisome material swirling about out there, Grand Theft Auto 3, one of the most popular, technically sophisticated, and graphic video games ever designed, may have given our generation of adults something new to worry about. Since it was released 9 months ago, Grand Theft Auto 3 has sold 3.5 million copies at $50 per. It carries a rating of M for mature audience, indicating that its content is unsuitable for persons under 17. But that, of course, has only made it more tantalizing to teens under that age. And hundreds of thousands of them have apparently had no trouble finding an adult to purchase the game for them. What does it do? Well, it puts the player in the assumed role of an escaped convict trying to work his way up the ladder in the world of organized crime and gang warfare. It is, as Michelle Norris now reports, just the sort of game you'd like your 13-year-old to get his hands on.
In the upstairs bedroom of this upstate New York home, a group of 13-year-old boys is carrying out a reign of terror on screen.
Oh man, this is bad.
That would put them on the nation's most wanted list in real life.
It's my general object of this game. Kill as many people as you can, get as many stars as you can.
They're deep into a video game called Grand Theft Auto 3, where players assume the role of an escaped convict who hijacks cars, guns down pedestrians,
Aw, dude.
has sex with a prostitute,
Want me to shoot her?
Yes.
then earns extra points by killing her so he can snatch back his money.
It's as close as you can get to killing someone without being arrested or really killing someone.
There are plenty of violent video games on the market today, but what sets Grand Theft Auto 3 apart is the game's stunning realism. GTA 3, as it is commonly called, revolves around a street thug who tries to work his way up the organized crime ladder in a fictional metropolis called Liberty City. There are shopping districts and slums, junkyards, and a red light district. There's even a Chinatown.
You can explore the world, you can get to know the city, the streets, you can do all these other activities that are not necessarily part of the given path designed by the developer.
That world takes interactive gaming to a new level. Pass pedestrians on the street, and you can overhear snatches of their conversation.
No families, no respect.
Don't like the music in the car you just hijacked?
You are no good.
Change the radio station to something more to your liking.
Although the violent content gets a lot of play, what the game designers have actually achieved beneath that is really amazing. It's amazing stuff.
The technical wizardry has attracted loyal fans, but the graphic violence has attracted angry critics. Denounced by Congress here in the U.S., the game has been outlawed in Australia, and several other countries are also considering bans. Despite, or perhaps because of such complaints, Grand Theft Auto 3 is the nation's top-selling video game this year, and a particularly big hit with teenage boys.
I just think it makes it more exciting because you're not supposed to have it. So I think that's why a lot of people our age buy it.
Actually, they talk their parents into buying it for them. With its M or mature rating, Grand Theft Auto is not intended for anyone younger than 17. Even so, Lawrence Jones convinced his mother to buy the game.
I don't think that it's going to impact on him. I don't think it's going to erode morals or anything else. It's no different than the movies that they go to.
But James Oppenheim, who reviews video games and other software for children, says there is a difference, a big one. Children are not just watching violence on screen, they're acting it out in increasingly realistic settings.
And you see that you get extra points for shooting somebody in the head as opposed to shooting them in the body. You have to wonder exactly what the values that we're teaching our children. Parents have to not check their parenting skills at the door just because it's a video game.
But is it possible that Oppenheim has it wrong? That parents who allow their children to play gruesome games like Grand Theft Auto might actually be helping their children in some way?
And one of the functions of any kind of play, whether it's playing with your toys or playing with a video game, is to help you make a little more sense of your anxieties and get a little more control of them and be a little less troubled by them.
A new book called Killing Monsters makes a provocative argument. Much like the cops and robbers playground games that kids used to play, today's high-tech version of make-believe can help children make sense of a confusing and troubling world.
It's a very natural reaction of young people to want to play with the very thing that is disturbing to them and toughen themselves up, prove that they can look at the image and handle the content.
The 13-year-olds in Monticello, New York, say the game does provide a release.
When I get mad, I just play these and get all my angry thoughts out of my head.
It's just something fun to do. It takes your mind off of things.
But these boys also admit that the line between fantasy and reality is not always so clear.
It's like, you gotta stop it. It's like, you can't.
My palms get sweaty and I get like nervous if I'm about to do something hard in the video game. I don't know, it's like an adrenaline rush.
Someone would think if it's that easy on the game, you could probably do it in real life.
Critics worry that these increasingly ferocious games are desensitizing children to violence. Much was made of the fact that the boys who opened fire on their classmates in Columbine were obsessed with a fatalistic game called Doom. But there is no conclusive research that establishes a clear link between violent video games and aggressive behavior. Still, video game producers are sensitive to the concerns, so much so that some are wondering if they should even be called games.
Games, for the most part, are viewed by the general populace as toys, as things for children.
The phenomenal success of Grand Theft Auto 3 has created a rush to match the game's over-the-top violence. A bill introduced in Congress this spring would make it harder for children to get their hands on those games, making it a federal crime to sell or rent violent video games to minors. The irony in all this, according to experts who study child development, is that the louder the complaints about violence in video games, the greater the demand among teenagers.
Sayonara, hookers.
It is marketing buzz based on one of the basic rules of adolescence. Teenagers desire the very thing they are not supposed to have. This is Michelle Norris reporting for Nightline in Monticello, New York.
We'll play a little Grand Theft Auto when we come back.